go. So we're going to switch this over to 2 views of the men's race, and we'll keep an eye on multiple battles within there, but mainly 18 seconds until the guys roll out from the pin here. So getting ready to watch them kick it out of the pin and battle it out up the hill. Remember, we're going to go straight up this hill nice and quick, so not much time to lead into this action. Wow, and this is a full race, guys. Lot of people here. I'm seeing Becker. I'm seeing Kim Little. You gotta remember, we got some teams here. Team ODZ. We'll leave it here on Text Divine. You gotta remember, there's some big teams involved in this race today as well. So that's gonna make a big difference in this race as well. Team X. Doesn't look like it's gonna let me ride the way I want to here. We're gonna try it again. But these guys are rolling across the bridge here. We've got Tex Divine up as our guy right now, and they're gonna roll across the bridge and head up the hill. Gonna look for a little bit of our apps to watch. We also have Cycle View going. We can get 4 streams up on Cycle View. Here we go. We've got, this is showing you some views that you can go over there and watch at the cycleview.tv app. These guys, will make sure we're in and watching them really closely once we get near the hill here. We're going to try to ride with Kim. Here we go. I think we've got another feed going now. Guys, this is a huge race going on here. 63 guys in the pin. This is going to be a big battle. You're going to see a lot of Team ODZ jerseys. You're going to see a few Team X jerseys. We got some Team Draft in there. We've got some Team Vision in there for Kriel. So a lot of team racing here. If you did not bring a team with you today, you did not bring the proper gun to this fight, I don't believe. You can see here over at the Cycle View app, we can choose any one of these riders. We can blow them up full screen. Here we got Jeff Rooney. I believe it is midnight in Jeff Rooney's area of the world right now. He is down there in the down under southern hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand area. And Jeff will be hammering here in his pain cave. Here we got Gary Delport fighting hard against Jason Flores. And we're getting into the climb proper, so we're going to get back over here and watch these guys a little bit closer. And they are already pushing hard at the front and trying to get some things going. We're going to do a little bit of side-by-side here on the, what do we got? So gonna have to restart one of these. So thankfully we got the other one started. So you can see here Jeff Kriel is who we are following on the current feed you're watching. They are getting into the climb already. They are going uphill at 1% right now. Not too much, but they're getting ready to go up that hill significantly harder. What do I think about McWatts versus Kriel? And then Jeff Rooney is an animal. Got some comments coming in over there at Facebook. We are watching those comments, as well as the comments over at Cycle View and Mixer. I think these are going to be some big battles. So we'll see how this this shakes out for the guys. But I think it's going to be tough to call. I think we're going to see teammates play a big role in the race today. I expect Team ODZ to be out here for Flores, as well as Tex Divine. I expect Jeff Rooney to have a big amount of help from guys like HG Becker and Kim Little. And I think that's going to be a significant impact in the race as well. Alright, here we go. Let's go a little side by side. Now we've got multiple screens going. Got Jeff Rooney on the right-hand side of the screen, and on the left-hand side of the screen we've got Kriel. Kriel's following a +1S rider off the front right now. And looks like Cunningham is in there with Draft, and he's working hard to pull that up there with Mizutani, Sticky, Treagle, Becker's up there, McQuade's sitting there just in that first front group. So let's watch this a little bit up here. We're going to look over his shoulder. You can see there's a little bit of a break in the pack back there. Not a significant one though. So these guys climbing hard up this hill, but I'm not sure that they're going to break this completely apart quite yet. A little bit of a gap right there behind McQuaide. See if we can go look at McQuaide here and see how he is doing. McQuade's sitting right here toward the back of this pack. If I look over McQuade's shoulder, that's where you can see that gap. And from Jeff Rooney's point of view here, he has got Kim Little right in front of him with the Tex Divine group. I can see Tex right in front of Rooney. So the screen we're looking at right now, we have McQuaide and Kriel here together in the front pack. Let's go to a little bit of a split screen here, side by side. In the right or left-hand side of the screen here, we have Jeff Rooney, Jason Flores, Tex Divine all together right here, as well as Gaffney. And where do we have Delport? Delport is 7 seconds back. So here we have Delport. Delport is also Team ODZ. So Jason Flores and Delport, I think, are just straight up racing this. No team help since they are both on Team ODZ. Delport is fighting here. This is a big dig on Delport's part. On the left-hand side here, you can see he is digging hard to get back. Maybe he had a dropout or something odd happened there. You'll also see that most of the ODZ team that would normally be gone off the front, Justin Wagner, some of those guys, they're hanging back here in this second pack. They would normally fight to stay in the lead pack here, but there is no Team ODZ in that lead pack going for a head-to-head. The head-to-head here that ODZ is supporting, I believe, is going to be Tex Divine. So they're going to stay back in this second group and help Tex. Gary Delport working hard to try to get back up into that group with Flores. This is the guy he's competing against just a few seconds up the road, but not quite hanging on. We're going to keep an eye on here. We've got Rooney. Rooney following that Union Jack right up the hill. He's got a good teammate in Kim Little. Just setting a pace, getting up this hill. That front group is not far away. If we go up to this front group and look over their shoulder, it's kind of hard to see through all the name badges there, but there is not much of a gap back to that second group. And these guys are fighting hard to hold on to that. I've got a reference here of like Frederic. There's about a 7-second gap from the front of the pack right now with McQuaide down to where we are seeing Jeff Rooney and Kim Little here. Rooney and Little are really stringing it out here too. Tex Divine is holding on, but he is in a world of trouble, I think. He is hurting, as well as Kim. Tex Divine here with a 172 heart rate. I am Batman is how you might know Tex a little better in the game. Racing under an alias very often when he is outside of the CVR world. Again, you can go over here to cycleview.tv, get your own viewpoints. You can see Jeff Rooney up here. Look at the suffering going on from Jeff here, trying to hold on to Kim Little. Jeff kind of laughed. He said he rewatched one of these back a little bit last week. He's got a little bit of the Kibe shuffle going on. Definitely Jeff suffering here. No doubt about the effort that it is taking to do that. Jeff has an interesting story if you guys don't know as they're going up the hill here. Jeff had a work accident, I believe it was about 1.5 years ago, and had a lot of plates and pins and things put in his leg. He fell from a significant height, and I want to say, 3-4 meters or more, and completely destroyed one of his legs. Had some significant injuries there. So good on Jeff. He's on his road to recovery here. And guys, if you want to see some rockin' overlays going on, you can never miss a Kim Little stream. Kim is not racing today, just here helping Jeff, but we'll give that a minute. It looks like we have lost that view for a second. So if you can, go check out Kim's stream. He's got a pretty awesome overlay going. Kim has rode away a little bit here and got out in front of Rooney. I think it's okay though. Rooney has a 4-second gap over Tex Divine, so I think Kim is going to drag back a little bit to Rooney here and give him a pull over the top. I think the battle's going to be there once they get over the top. Can Kim and Jeff and anybody else up there continue to pull a gap away from the ODZ train that is going to be coming behind? On the other side of the screen here, right hand side of the screen, just underneath my not so pretty face there, you see Jim McQuaide still fighting here with teammate Cunningham. Kriel is in there, and Kriel and McQuaide are battling hard head to head. McQuade's heart rate sitting at 175, and Kriel at 172. These guys are nearing the top of the climb now. This is not quite the climb that I thought it was going to be. I hadn't done my research. I knew it was going to be a big climb. I knew it was going to be up the hill, but I was not expecting it to be up the new hill. For some reason, I thought this was going to be up the old hill. Such a political answer. Matt's giving me a hard time for not throwing out who's gonna win this thing. So, in the A race, I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for McQuaide in the A race because he seems to have a little bit more of some teammates around him. He's got Cunningham there working for him, and I like Kriel. Kriel's a good guy. Talked to him quite a bit, but I'm going to go with McQuaide on that one. Of course, in the B race, I got to throw it out to my man Jeff Rooney. He is my teammate, so we're going to be rooting a little bit for Jeff there, see how Jeff does in that group. And in the C bracket, I think it's Jason Flores who will take away the honors there. So those are my calls for the day. But more so just enjoying the awesome fights that are going on here. You can see here I dropped back a little bit. And we'll drill in a little bit closer to this one. We've got Flores here just about 3 or 4 seconds in front of Delport. And these guys are working hard, and they're going to come back together, I think. Justin Wagner hanging in no man's land between these. I think he's trying not to influence the team racing there. Tex Divine here. Looks like he is also in no man's land with Jeff Rooney 14 seconds in front of him. Tex is going to keep the hammer down, and he's going to hope that ODZ train can come from behind with Boyko, Flores, Wagner, and those guys, and can give him a pull to the finish. But right now, he's a few seconds behind, and it looks like he's going to have a struggle to catch up without some significant help from behind. We know that Rooney has got the help up there with that Union Jack on the shoulders of Kim Little. Kim will be his wingman and take him to the finish. So, big battle going on up there. The guy's just getting ready to come over the top of the hill here. We're going to see some big times get thrown down. And on Keith Hill, they did a 9:33 up the hill. That was Keith Hill, which is the reverse direction of Leith Hill. Dropping some ride-ons for the guys. Coming over the top together, we have Sticky, HG Becker, M Bike, Jay McQuaide, Mizutani, Kopse, Thomas, Cunningham, and Kriel. All right. Something to point out here, we have Cunningham, Kriel, Thomas, Zaki. These guys are off by 5 seconds over the front group. So here goes Kopse trying to make the close here. Kopse closes this down for the group. This is a big help to Kriel. Those guys almost got away, and that could have been disastrous for the race behind. So dropping back here to the Rooney bunch, and we'll go back into a side-by-side view. Guys, we're going to use this side-by-side a lot today because we have multiple battles going on, and we want to try to watch all of them. Flatten out for the rest of the race. And here we've got Mr. Kim Little trying out the new overlays. These guys are mastering their green screens and their overlays, so this is a pretty wild view. Awesome thing that Kim has done here with the team over at CVR to play with some of their backgrounds there, so pretty awesome. I got Mr. Flores here just coming up over the KOM. You can see him really focused, the look on his face, talking a little bit. He's in Discord with the team. He's got Justin Wagner just behind him, and a little bit of a gap, looks like a 10-second gap back to G Delport, which is the guy he will be racing to move on today. So not sure if those 10 seconds are going to stick or not, but it looks like Wagner and a few of his teammates are going to give him a big pull. They've got to get up there and help their teammate, Tex Divine. Here we've got Mr. McQuaide, Jim McQuaide, cranking hard here. He is in that front group comfortably now, just riding along. These guys will be pretty chill, I think, until we get closer to the end. We'll see if anybody decides to attack or if this is now in for a sprint. So it'll be interesting as they go on how this is going to shake out toward the end. Gary Delport here cruising a little bit behind the guy he's chasing, Flores, trying to catch up, putting in a hard effort, see if he can't. He's got that heart rate up at 177, trying to suffer and catch up with that group in front of him. Big push there by him up over that hill. That hill was definitely a deciding factor in the race. And let's kind of do a check around the pack. So on the right hand side, you have most of your A bracket riders that we can see there. McQuaide, Cunningham are in there with Becker. A lot of common known names up there. Kriel, Kopse, Mizutani, the KRT rider Sticky in there. So big group up there in the A pack. On the other side of the screen, we got some guys here in no man land. Vitor Mateus, one of the couple Asian riders in there as well. I'm going to butcher their names if I try to say them. And then coming from behind, we've got Tex Divine. Let's drop back and see how this is going. So about 45 seconds behind that Rooney Little group, we've got Tex Divine riding along here. I expect Tex to get reeled in here by this group behind him, and then we'll see if they put in a significant amount of effort to try to catch here. There is a lot of ODZ back in this pack. If you see here, we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ODZ jerseys in this pack that is chasing, and ultimately I think this becomes the chase pack. They're going to sweep up Tex Divine, Mr. Batman here in a minute, and then the chase is going to be on. Can they make any sort of dent in this 1 minute and 19 second gap up to Jeff Rooney? So we're going to keep a close eye on that. So I think I'm going to leave this screen up here. We can monitor the gap from Justin Wagner up to the group of Kim Little and Jeff Rooney, and then we will watch the A group where we'll keep an avatar on McQuaide and see how he does there too. while we're doing that, we'll go over to the 3 screen. Guys, remember you can go over to this Cycle View app and pull up any one of your favorite riders that are streaming here and take a look at them. You can do pop-up windows. You can do 1, 2, or 4 streams in an individual window. What we are racing today is bracket racing. And if you're not familiar with the brackets, you can go, if you go over to Cycle View, you can click on the button to go look at the league results, and in there are the postseason brackets. So here today we have right here Jeff Kriel versus Jim McQuaide fighting in Zone C. The winner of that is going to go on and battle against Kim Little or Bjorn Osenbrink next week. Kim is racing for himself in the Zone E race a little bit later today, so stay tuned for those races. In the B bracket, we are watching Jeff Rooney fight against Tex Devine here in the C bracket, and they will face the winner. Whoever wins today will face the winner of Moti Pekelny and Steve Foong. Also later today in the E bracket, that head-to-head battle is going on. And then in this C bracket, the other race we're watching today is the Gary Delport versus Jason Flores. Looks like Jason has taken an advantage in that one for now, and we'll see how that goes over the race. I think Jason's going to run away with that one, as he is in that group that is now chasing down Rooney. And we're seeing that time has dropped by 20 seconds between that chasing ODZ group and Jeff Rooney and Kim Little. So it is going to be a challenge, I think, to hold off this steaming pack coming. And then in the D bracket here for the men, Mike Szymanski against Jason Economois a little bit later today in the G zone. We also have some ladies races going on today. Just kind of doing a round check of the racing right now. Things seem pretty calm in the race. So Dixie Newsom against Mary Sill in the G zone race today, and Eva Buchholz against Anja Lewendorf in the E zone later today. Marlene Bjorhead and Sarah Thomas in Zone D, and Hildy Asperheim and Angela Pitzler also in Zone D. So if you want to watch some ladies racing in Zone D, the entire B bracket right here is racing in Zone D today for the ladies. Both head-to-head races in one. Remember, we've got races every 3 hours. We're watching the C zone right now. It'll come up every 2 hours. So race distance is going to be, we've got some problems with the race counters. Race distance is 25.6 kilometers according to Zwift Insider for the forward circuit. So it's going to be somewhere around 25 kilometers. Kim Little is where we are at for that. So I would recommend to the racers out there, if you're having trouble with that, race to the line. Try to make sure you've got screenshots. I will try to make sure that I am watching at least one of the head-to-head riders at the start-finish line in every battle that we have got. So we have a recording of that for recording purposes. And here we go in the C bracket for the ladies later today. We've got Gemma Ankers versus Lisa Hines and Jennifer Brown against Tracy Vogel. Let's go back to watch them side by side here, guys. Let's see what's going on in the racing. That Team ODZ chase pack is still pushing hard. They are on the left-hand side of your screen, and we're watching Justin Wagner in that group. And they are taking a left turn here, which is going to be a long route to start finish. But when they get around this corner, we should be able to see the gap. They have swept up Tex Devine now. So Tex is in this group with them. And they are chasing hard against this Jeff Rooney group. We're going to jump up to the Rooney group. Rooney group has swollen a little bit here. Kim and Jeff have picked up that group in front of him that were a few of the Asian riders dropped off the front, as well as Vitor Mateus, who is Team ODZ. So I don't expect Mateus to do any work here. He is simply going to sit in. And I think most of the work here is going to have to be done by Team X, be it Rooney or Little, to stay away. Any help that they get from any of the other riders here is just a bonus along the way. I think this is going to be pretty much left up to Team X to take care of. A little bit of jumping in the front of the group here. Got to jump over to the other screen here. Cunningham and McQuaide pushing hard up at the front. Doesn't look like they've done any real damage here. We've got a few guys just dangling a couple seconds off the back, but knowing the past history, guys like M-Bike, they will have no problems holding on to those jumps. McQuaide sitting at about a 167 heart rate. Kriel sitting at about a 165. These guys are not sitting in. This is still a tough race up here. I mean, they've come down that hill and they've gathered their wits about them a little bit and they've pulled it together, but they are still really, really pushing hard at the front of the pack here. So, definitely digging hard. So what are our predictions for the end of the race, guys? Let's hear it out there in the Facebook chat. I see all you guys out there in Facebook chat. Are we sprinting for the win here? What are we doing? We got a big jump here by Becker. This is a significant jump, and they are chasing. Cunningham and McQuaide are chasing. Cunningham's the lead McQuaide, which that's going to help McQuaide get away and save a little bit of his legs. It looks like they've got... They are digging. We got a little comment coming in over there at Mixer. Thanks, man. We appreciate you jumping in. Remember, every one of these guys is somebody on their bike somewhere suffering. These are not just guys manning a controller, but they are suffering in the pack. Here we go. This is Jim McQuaide. He is in this lead group. And, oh, we're going to get a little bit of a stutter. There on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see Jim in his pain cave at home, hammering away, trying to catch that front group. Every one of these guys has got a real setup, real heart rate, real power monitors, power meters, hammering away in their homes, chasing one another around this course. Doesn't look like they shook anybody out of that front group with that big dig. Let's check in on the gap on that second group that we've been watching on the road. The front group looks like they're all back together right now. And so this is the Team ODZ train chasing, and it looks like 45 seconds now is the gap. It has come down about 5 seconds, but at this pace will not be able to catch, I don't believe, the Rooney and Kim Little group unless they really push. This is a trying to do a little bit of math in my head, which is sometimes hard. It's a 25, almost 26 mile race. And doing that math in my head, we're going to be, or I'm sorry, 25 or 26 kilometer race. So I think we're going to be looking at somewhere around 16 miles. If my math is correct. So not a really long race. And in the front group, we have Becker now off the front. I missed his attack over there. Hopefully you guys did not miss that attack, as it was up on your screen. And I believe what is happening here is they're going to let Becker go off the front. McQuaide and Kriel do not want to chase that, so they're going to let that go up off the front. Steven Ludendorff says most likely a sprint. I think it will be a sprint for the head-to-head battle in the A bracket. I think it's going to be a game of cat and mouse here in the B bracket between Tex Devine and Jeff Rooney. ODZ definitely has an organized chase going on here, and they will be able to make a dent in that group ahead, I believe. I believe that gap is probably going to come down into the 30 seconds. And at that point, there's potential for some big efforts to close that gap down. This is not a gimme for Jeff Rooney. Jeff Rooney is not in a position where all he has to do is hold on and hope to not have a technical. I think there's a little more work to be done there than just that to lock this one up. Don't let those 35 or 38 seconds now fool you in that second group. I think there's a big effort to do there. The finish will be at the start-finish line, guys. If anybody is watching the broadcast here, The finish will be at the start-finish line. It will be somewhere around 15 to 16 miles or 25.5 to 26 kilometers. So when you go through Trafalgar Square, down the hill, and along the river, once you get down along that river, you're going to be counting down to somewhere around that 15 to 16 mile area or 25 to 26 kilometer area. So anybody who is out there watching the broadcast who is racing, we're seeing those. Make sure that you are paying attention to that. We are racing just one full lap, is my understanding. Not sure how the officials are going to score this. We will keep an eye on this until these guys give up the race, so to speak. But I believe it's supposed to be one lap. And if you are in the race, I would be communicating that amongst the groups to try to establish that. CVR in the past has not done any odd start-finish lines, and I wouldn't expect them to have done that today either. I'm seeing a lot of the comments in the different guys' rides where they're questioning where the finish is, so hopefully they get that all worked out. So here we have the gap from the chasing Tex Divine group, and we'll drill in a little bit closer to this to show this. Divine, Flores, Boyko, Wagner looks like he's off the back. Wagner's still healing up from surgery, so may not be 100% right now. These guys are putting the chase on against Rooney and a little here. It looks like they're getting a little bit of help from some other guys, but this is pretty much a Team X two-man time trial at this point, and they're pulling hard here. Looks like they're holding that gap pretty solid around 40 seconds, and that's what they need to do, is just mind that gap. Well done by them. Up here at the front of the group, we are losing riders. So we will come back here and we will try to slide forward on them from here. You can see here in the front of the group right now, they are pretty much all together. Not seeing any significant breaks here. We do have, I believe, Becker. A mile and a half, 2 miles, I believe they will be at start finish, and that should be the end of the race for these guys. So we are closing in on the end of the race for this lead pack now. Short race today, but my understanding is they are having a problem with the countdown in the race, and they don't have a clear finish. So we're trying to get another feed up for these guys. We lost our second feed with a little bit of the watcher problems, but we have successfully grabbed a hold of the pack a little bit further back, and now we have double screens again. So Jeff Rooney, Jim McQuaide, or I'm sorry, Jeff Rooney, Kim Little chasing here. Jim McQuaide, Jeff Kriel are the two guys in our front pack that we will keep an eye on. So we're jumping in here with Kriel. They are now on the left-hand side of the screen. We are following Kriel here with a 152 heart rate. Reminder, guys, up here at the top of the screen, Vancouver, British Columbia, June 23rd and 24th. That is just a little over a week and a half away. The next live event for CVR World Cup We've got 10 men, 10 women looking to battle it out there. Awesome battles coming up, so excited to see what's going to happen there. So these guys should have, and just watching the, trying to watch the gap behind for the guys, the Jeff Rooney and Little group. Right now I'm not seeing a good gap back there, so what do they have behind them? Looks like about a 40-second gap. I think Rooney's going to hold on to this one. Assuming they're just going to start finish, I think Rooney has got that one locked up. So we will go back to them a little bit more as we get closer, but we're going to watch this one full screen here. M-Bike was a little bit off the back. He's going to chase back on. That is not uncommon for him. And he is a non-factor today. We're going to be racing and watching Kriel versus McQuaide. The winner of those two will go on to next week face either Kim Little or Osenbrink, I believe, to determine the A bracket winner for the postseason, who will then get an invite to the final live CVR World Cup event of the year, which will come later in the fall. So right now it looks like they're picking it up a little bit. These guys are keeping an eye out for what the finish is going to be. I'm going to try to get us a McQuaide sprint screen up so we can watch this sprint for the finish a little bit behind real time. He's just a few seconds behind real time, so we're going to get his screen up so we can watch it. We're getting really close to the finish here. And you see Cunningham is leading this one out. How is this going to come to the finish? And Kriel kicks. McQuaide is up there on Cunningham's wheel. Whose is it going to be? Kriel looks like he's got it. Kriel grabbed it. And McQuaide, is McQuaide able to get there? I don't think McQuade's going to get there. Kriel's got a 1 second gap now. I think that was all down to timing. Big chase by those guys, but I think that came down to timing, and I think McQuaide fell out there. Just bad timing there toward the end. Here, guys, we're going to watch the end of it here from Jim McQuade's live view here. You can see Cunningham pulling out that little bit of a gap, picking it up. McQuade's trying to get back up on his wheel, and McQuaide gets on his wheel and then rests up just a little bit, but you could see those guys just pounced. As soon as Jim let off the gas, the guys came around him full orange numbers, 12, 13 watts per kilogram. Jim put in a huge dig here, but just was not quite enough. Good effort by Jim in the team draft group there. And here we have Jeff Rooney rolling across the line. Rooney and Little coming in, and then behind him is going to be the Flores group. So Jeff Rooney is going to take the B bracket here, and we're going to jump back, and we're trying to get recordings of all of those finishes for the results. So that was a Jeff Rooney finish. And here we have Tex Divine rolling into the group with his Team ODZ around him. Jason Flores picking it up here toward the start-finish line. We're going to see Jason Flores be led across the line here by Delport, Divine. We've got Boyko in the group here. Big kick by these guys. And going back a little bit further. Have they crossed the line yet? Okay, here we go. We've got Flores' view right here. We want to watch Flores because he's right on Delport's wheel. We're going to watch him go around Delport here. I didn't catch that Delport was in the group here with him, so Flores rolled across the line ahead of Delport by 1 second, according to that. So, if all of my real-time stats are correct, I believe they are. Let's go over to the brackets here. And go to the men's bracket. So we just watched Jeffrey Kriel versus Jim McQuaide. Jeff Kriel takes the win over Jim McQuaide in Zone C. In the Zone C race today, they will move on to next week where they're racing a London Greater Flat, 3 laps, 40 kilometers, and he will be going against, Jeffrey Kriel will be going against Kim Little or Bjorn Osenbrink based on the race later today. Jeff Rooney takes the win over